Yeah, everybody, my name is Lowell, and welcome to the channel. So we have a high-tier patron choice. Thank you very much for this one. This is 50 Georgia facts you won't believe are true. Now, we're talking about Georgia in America, not Georgia in Europe. So let's have a look at this one.
Georgia has a lost nuclear bomb still sitting off the coast.
Whoa, that's how you got to start it? A lost. How the hell do you lose a nuclear bomb? What?
Did you know Georgia has a lost nuclear bomb still sitting off the coast? Or that its Little Grand Canyon wasn't carved by a river, but by farmers in the 1800s? What about a spring that glows an incredible blue, a swamp larger than some national parks, and more salt marsh than any other East Coast state? Oh, and the world's busiest airport, a mountain with the largest...
Whoa. The world in Atlanta. I keep forgetting Atlanta is in Georgia. Okay.
Other East Coast state. Oh, and the world's busiest airport, a mountain with the largest bas-relief sculpture on Earth, and an island where wild horses roam on the beach. This is Georgia, and it's not just peaches and football. Buckle up for 50 facts that'll change how you see the Peach State forever. Fact 50, the lost nuke of Tybee. In 1958, a U.S. Air Force jet accidentally dropped a 7,600-pound Mark 15 nuclear bomb near Tybee Island after a mid-air collision during a training mission. The bomb, without its plutonium core, was intentionally ditched into coastal waters to save the crew. It was never recovered and is still down there somewhere near Wausau Sound, encased in silt and salt water. Locals call it the Tybee Bomb, Georgia's most infamous Cold War secret. Fact 49. Radium Springs, Georgia's radioactive blue hole. Radium Springs in Albany pumps out about 70,000 gallons per minute of crystal blue water from the Floridian aquifer. In the early 1900s, trace radium was detected, giving the springs their name and a reputation as a healing spa. It's one of Georgia's 7 natural wonders, and that unreal blue color, it's the way sunlight interacts with ultra-clear limestone-filtered water. Fact 48. The Okefenokee, a swamp the size of a small nation. The Okefenokee Swamp sprawls across roughly 700 square miles in southeast Georgia and northern Florida, one of North America's largest intact freshwater wetlands. It's a blackwater ecosystem with floating peat prairies, carnivorous plants, thousands of gators, and the cypress-lined headwaters of both the Suwannee and St. Mary's rivers. Fires here are natural. The peat can even smolder underground and reignite months later. Fact 47. Barrier Islands, wild horses, and empty beaches. Georgia's coast is protected by a necklace of barrier islands: Cumberland, Sapelo, Jekyll, St. Simons, Tybee, and more, shielding vast marshes from the Atlantic. Cumberland Island is a federally protected national seashore, famous for feral horses, maritime forests, and one of the wildest shorelines on the East Coast. Much of Georgia's coastline is undeveloped by design.
We used to have we still have the island, obviously, but Fraser Island called Kari now. There used to be what we call brumbies in Australia. They're wild horses, what we call them. But yeah, they obviously got all moved off the island because apparently the sand was killing them. Because every time they eat the grass, they eat a bit of sand and obviously it shortens their lifespan. Apparently, that's what the government says. But they all got moved off into the mainland. But okay, I think do you still call wild horses Mustangs? Or is that a particular type of horse? Let me know in the comment section. Is that what you call wild horses? Because he just never said it on this video, so I don't know.
Lines on the East Coast. Much of Georgia's coastline is undeveloped by design. Fact 46. More salt marsh than any other Atlantic state. Georgia's marshes of Glynn aren't just poetic. They're massive. The state protects an estimated 400,000 acres of tidal salt marsh, accounting for about a third of all salt marsh on the U.S. Atlantic coast. These wetlands buffer storms, filter water, store carbon, and nurture shrimp, oysters, and fish that fuel the region's seafood economy. Fact 45. Stone Mountain, the world's largest bas-relief. Just outside Atlanta, Stone Mountain is a granite dome with the largest high-relief sculpture on Earth carved into its face. The mountain itself is a monadnock, a lone towering rock rising from the Piedmont, formed from intrusive granite over 300 million years ago. Hike to the top for skyline views, stretching to the Blue Ridge on a clear day. Fact 44.
Wow.
Providence.
Who carved it? Who was the artist or who carved the rock? Let me know. It didn't say anything. Okay.
Stretching to the Blue Ridge on a clear day. Fact 44. Providence Canyon, Georgia's Little Grand Canyon. Providence Canyon looks ancient, but most of it formed in the 1800s. Poor plowing practices caused brutal erosion in the sandy coastal plain soils near Lumpkin, creating gullies up to 150 feet deep. Today, vivid layers of iron-stained sands paint the canyon walls in reds, oranges, and purples. A stunning, human-made lesson in why soil conservation matters. Fact 43.
Man, you wouldn't think, obviously erosion is obviously really bad, but man, that is terrible. 150 feet cliffs? Dang, that is some erosion.
A stunning, human-made lesson in why soil conservation matters. Fact 43. The Fall Line, where rivers jump downhill. Georgia's Fall Line is a natural boundary where the hard rocks of the Piedmont meet the sandy coastal plain, creating rapids and waterfalls. Cities like Columbus, Macon, and Augusta sprang up here to harness water power and river trade. Even now, you can raft urban whitewater on the Chattahoochee in Columbus. The course was designed for world-class slalom events. Fact 42. The Appalachian Trail begins here. At Springer Mountain in North Georgia, the Appalachian Trail begins its 2,190-mile journey to Maine. The approach trail starts at Amicalola Falls, the state's tallest waterfall at 729 feet. North Georgia's Blue Ridge offers true southern highland terrain, boulder-strewn creeks, rhododendron tunnels, and foggy ridgelines. Fact 41. Brasstown Bald, on Georgia's roof. The state's highest point, Brasstown Bald, tops out at 4,784 feet. On a crisp, clear day, you can see 4 states from the summit: Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, and South Carolina. The observation tower sits above a sea of rolling peaks, where temperatures can run 10 to 20 degrees cooler than Atlanta. Fact 40. Tallulah Gorge, a 2-mile chasm with a vertical punch. Tallulah Gorge is 1,000 feet deep and carved by the Tallulah River through tough quartzite. It's bridged by a swaying suspension bridge and spanned by an iconic railway trestle in old photos. On select dam release weekends, the gorge roars back to life for advanced whitewater paddlers, one of the Southeast's most coveted runs. Fact 39. Toccoa and Amicalola, Waterfall Central. Georgia loves waterfalls. Toccoa Falls drops 186 feet, taller than Niagara, right behind a college campus. Amicalola Falls cascades in a 729-foot series of drops, the tallest in the state, and one of the tallest east of the Mississippi. Many are fed by spring cold streams that flow clear over blue-gray bedrock. Fact 38. Warm Springs, where hot water changed history. At Warm Springs, naturally heated mineral water around 88 degrees Fahrenheit drew Franklin D. Roosevelt in the 1920s for polio therapy. He built the Little White House here and shaped New Deal ideas in this small Georgia town. The springs are part of Georgia's 7 natural wonders, where geology and history merge. Fact 37. The world's busiest airport. Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport is consistently the busiest airport on Earth by passenger numbers. Atlanta's geography, near the Southeast Population Center, at the junction of major interstates and rail, made it the ultimate hub. From here...
Dang! That's busy. That's a lot of roads. Holy moly.
At the junction of major interstates and rail, made it the ultimate hub. From here, you can reach 80% of the U.S. in 2 hours of flight time.
Oh, wow.
Fact 36. A city built on granite and kaolin. Georgia sits on major deposits of granite, especially around Alberton, the granite capital of the world, and vast belts of kaolin, a porcelain white clay used in paper, ceramics, pharmaceuticals, and cosmetics. The kaolin district running through middle Georgia is globally significant to modern manufacturing. Fact 35. The Altamaha, the Amazon of the South. The Altamaha River, formed by the Oconee and Ocmulgee, flows largely untamed to the Atlantic with no dams on its main stem. Its watershed harbors exceptional biodiversity, rare fish, ancient longleaf pine savannas, and floodplain.
Was that a tank? Was that a tank in the field? What?
Biodiversity, rare fish, ancient longleaf pine savannas.
That is it. Why is there a tank in the? That's 4 tanks there. Very natural, and they're standing in the field.
Savannas and floodplain forests. Locals whisper about the Altamaha, a river cryptid said to haunt its oxbows. Believe it, or don't. Fact
Dang.
34, Okmulgee, 17,000 years of human history. In Macon,
Wow.
Okmulgee Mounds protects earthworks built by native peoples over millennia. The Great Temple Mound rises above the river
okay.
terrace, and archaeologists have uncovered
Wow.
artifacts from Paleo-Indian
Okay.
times through the Mississippian cultures. It is currently on track to become Georgia's...
Isn't it funny how all the ancient peoples all kind of discovered the, ways to do things, and they all basically look exactly the bloody same. Doesn't matter if they're in Europe, doesn't matter if they're in the Americas, Asian. They all look the same. It's funny how the brain worked, and maybe that's just the way it felt natural and whatever else. But the more you look at it, you go, more that's the same. I don't know.
Indian times through the Mississippian cultures.
Yep.
It is currently on track to become Georgia's first full national park.
Oh, no.
Fact 33, Kolomoki and Etowah, ancient earthwork cities. Georgia's big mounds don't stop in Macon. Kolomoki in the southwest and Etowah near Cartersville feature massive platform mounds, plazas, and burials from early woodland and Mississippian times. These sites were regional hubs, political, ceremonial, economic, long before European contact. Fact 32, Dahlonega, America's first gold rush. In 1828, gold was discovered near Dahlonega, triggering the first major U.S. gold rush. 2 decades before California.
Okay.
The U.S. Mint operated here from 1838 to 1861.
I thought the first gold rush was California. I've never heard of Georgia in regards to gold rush. Okay.
Before California.
Okay.
The U.S. Mint operated here from 1838 to 1861, stamping D mint mark coins. The Blue Ridge still hides quartz veins and old mine shafts from the era that forever changed the region. Fact 31, Springer to Sea, one state, two major river systems. Georgia straddles headwaters that flow two ways, west and south to the Gulf of Mexico, and east to the Atlantic. Water policy here matters. Atlanta's water is famously limited by the small Chattahoochee, making interstate water sharing a perennial political fight. Fact 30, Lake Lanier, a city under the waves. Built in the 1950s, Lake Lanier flooded valleys, roads, cemeteries, and the remnants of communities like Oscarville. Today, it's Metro Atlanta's recreation backyard and a vital drinking water reservoir. In drought years, its bathtub ring becomes headline news. In summer, it's one of the Southeast's busiest lakes. Fact 29, Sapelo Island and the Gullah Geechee Corridor. Sapelo Island preserves Hog Hammock, a historic Gullah Geechee community descended from West Africans enslaved on coastal plantations. Their culture, language, foodways, basketry endures along a ribbon of islands from North Carolina to Florida. Georgia's sea islands remain crucial to that living heritage. Fact 28, Jekyll Island and the birth of the Fed. In 1910, a secret meeting at the Jekyll Island Club quietly hammered out a plan that would become the Federal Reserve System. The island's moss-draped oaks and millionaire cottages hide one of the most consequential economic summits in U.S. history.
Wow, look at that house.
Fact
Holy
27,
moly.
Gray's Reef, a garden under the sea. Off Georgia's coast lies Gray's Reef National Marine Sanctuary, a live-bottom reef on the continental shelf. Limestone ledges host sponges, corals, turtles, grouper, and schools of pelagic fish. A thriving subtropical reef hidden beneath shipping lanes and shrimp boats. Fact 26, Cumberland's Dunes and Wild Horses. Cumberland Island's dune system towers like a sandy mountain range, backing miles of empty beach. Feral horses graze in the maritime forest, while loggerhead sea turtles nest in summer. It's true wilderness you can walk into, not drive through. Fact 25, Augusta, a city built on a canal. The Augusta Canal, built in the 1840s, powered textile mills and factories with Savannah River water that still flows today. It's one of America's best preserved industrial canals, now a National Heritage Area that you can bike beside or paddle through. Fact 24, the Savannah, a river that moves state lines. The Savannah River forms Georgia's border with South Carolina, and its shifting channel once sparked disputes over islands and sandbars. The river's tidally influenced lower reaches carve brackish marshes and support the historic Port of Savannah, one of the busiest on the East Coast. Fact 23, Savannah Squares, a city as a garden. Laid out in 1733, Savannah's grid of tree-shaded squares is one of the most beautiful examples of early American city planning. Live oaks, azaleas, and brick paths cool summer heat and frame historic architecture. It's urban design that made room for nature and still works centuries later. Fact 22. Wormslow's Live Oak Cathedral. The Oak Avenue at Wormslow stretches 1.5 miles under arching bridges draped in Spanish moss. It's one of the most photographed roads in America, and a reminder that coastal Georgia's maritime forests once canopied entire islands. Fact 21. Vidalia onions, a taste you can map. Vidalia onions are sweet because of low sulfur soils in a defined region of southeast Georgia. The name is legally protected. Only onions grown in the designated counties can be sold as Vidalia.
I've never heard of it. I don't think we get them here, but okay.
Protected. Only onions grown in the designated counties can be sold as Vidalia. It's terroir, southern style. Fact 20.
Is that just shallots? Every time I say shallots, some people say, no, it's green onion or it's this or that. I don't know. I think that's what it looks like, shallots for us here.
Sold as Vidalia. It's terroir, southern style.
Yeah.
Fact 20. Peanuts, pecans, and blueberries, Georgia's true crops. Despite the peach on the license plate, Georgia often grows more blueberries and pecans than peaches. And it's a
Oh, did he just say pecans? Oof, watch out in the chat. Pecans or pecans? I ask it every time. Let me know in the chat.
On the license plate, Georgia often grows more blueberries and pecans than peaches, and it's a global peanut powerhouse. The coastal plains' sandy soils and long growing season make it an agricultural giant beyond the fruit it's famous for. Fact 19. Kennesaw Mountain, a Civil War ridge with big views. Just northwest of Atlanta, Kennesaw Mountain rises from the Piedmont. Trails climb through boulders and earthworks to views over the metro.
Wow.
The ridge is part of the Chattahoochee River watershed, where urban forest and Battlefield Park overlap with a modern city. Fact 18. Atlanta, a city in a forest. Metro Atlanta is often called the city in a forest thanks to its sprawling tree canopy, oak, pine, tulip poplar, and sweet gum. From the air, the neighborhood looks swallowed by green. That canopy...
Do you know what? I've heard of it. Obviously, I've heard of Atlanta, and I've heard, the traffic is terrible, and we've just found out it's the biggest airport. That's not how I thought it would look. With all the trees, I need to take a closer look at Atlanta. There's a lot of trees. I love it. But, okay.
And sweet gum. From the air, the neighborhood looks swallowed by green. That canopy helps with heat and stormwater, but it also makes the city prone to falling limbs in ice storms.
Yep.
Fact 17. The Belt Line, rails to trails to city making. Atlanta's Belt Line is a 22-mile loop of trails and transit being built on old rail corridors. It's transformed brownfields into parks, spurred dense infill, and stretched together neighborhoods with urban greenscape. A modern fall line for people instead of water. Fact 16. The CDC and pandemic geography. Atlanta is home to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention,
Now, if you watched The Walking Dead, which I did on my Patreon, you would know this already.
Geography. Atlanta is home to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, whose campus sits just east of Emory University. From here, epidemiologists map disease geography, tracking outbreaks, vector ranges, and climate-linked shifts in public health risk. Fact 15. The Sandhills, Georgia's ancient shoreline. Between the Piedmont and coastal plain lies the Sandhills, a ribbon of old dunes and beach sands, remnants of an ancient coastline when sea levels were higher. Today, longleaf pine and wiregrass persist in scattered tracts, with gopher tortoises digging deep burrows into the sand. Fact 14. Carolina Bays, ellipses nobody can explain. South Georgia's coastal plain is pocked with mysterious oval depressions called Carolina Bays. Perfectly aligned northwest-southeast, they hold ponds, peat, and carnivorous plants. Their origin is still debated. Wind, water.
Wait, that's natural? Oh, wow, they look very interesting.
And carnivorous plants. Their origin is still debated. Wind, water, ancient impacts, but their habitat value is unquestioned.
Wow.
Fact 13. The Suwannee starts here. That famous Florida river, the Suwannee, actually begins in Okefenokee Swamp and flows south through Georgia and Florida to the Gulf of Mexico. Its tea-colored black water comes from tannins in decaying peat and cypress leaves.
Wow, okay.
Fact 12. The Chattahoochee, Atlanta's lifeline. Rising in the Blue Ridge, the Chattahoochee River supplies most of Metro Atlanta's drinking water, cools power plants, and forms the Alabama line. Below Buford Dam, its waters stay year-round cold, creating a rare urban trout fishery just minutes from skyscrapers.
Wow, okay.
Fact 11. The Masters and the Augusta Sandhills.
Yeah.
The Augusta National Golf Course sits on ancient sandhills, free-draining soils where azaleas and pines thrive. The course's spring bloom owes as much to geology as gardening, and the nearby Savannah River keeps the microclimate moist. Fact 10. Fernbank Forest, old growth in the city. In Atlanta's Druid Hills, Fernbank Forest protects 65 acres of old-growth Piedmont hardwoods, one of the largest old-growth urban forests in the U.S. Towering oaks and hickories create a living time capsule inside a modern metropolis. Fact 9. The Atlantic Intercoastal Waterway. Georgia's sounds, rivers, and marsh creeks are part of the Intercoastal Waterway, a protected inland route for boats from Norfolk to Miami. Here it winds through Spartina marshes and around hammocks, an inland sea maze that moves with the tide. Fact 8. Blue Ridge vistas and wine country. North Georgia's Blue Ridge isn't just hiking, it's also wine country. Granitic and metamorphic soils and cool nights at elevation are perfect for hybrids and vinifera. Vineyards cling to ridges with sunset views over layered mountains. Fact 7. Fort Pulaski and the birth of modern siege warfare. Near Savannah, Fort Pulaski was considered unbreachable until Union troops used rifled cannon in 1862 to shatter brick walls from over a mile away. The breach changed military engineering forever. Today, its moat reflects salt marsh and a skyline of marsh grass. Fact 6. Skidaway in the bones of giants. Georgia's coastal bluffs and dredge finds have yielded megalodon teeth and marine fossils from ancient seas. Places like Skidaway Island host research campuses that study ocean currents, plankton blooms, and sea level rise shaping the Georgia Bight. Fact 5. Tornadoes, hurricanes, and ice storms. Georgia straddles multiple hazard zones. Spring tornadoes sweep the Piedmont. Hurricanes rake the coast and spin inland, flooding. And every decade or so, an ice storm knocks heavy limbs into power lines in tree-rich Atlanta. Geography rates the weather. Fact 4. The Georgia Aquarium, massive and marine. When it opened, the Georgia Aquarium was the world's largest and is still the largest in the Western Hemisphere, housing whale sharks, manta rays, and entire tropical reef exhibits. It's an urban window into the global ocean in landlocked downtown Atlanta. Fact 3. The Trail of Tears began here. From the Cherokee capital at New Echota in northwest Georgia, the forest removal known as the Trail of Tears began in the 1830s.
I've never heard of the Trail of Tears. Okay, gonna have to put that on my list to investigate as well.
Northwest Georgia, the forest removal known as the Trail of Tears began in the 1830s. Today, the site preserves a council house, print shop, and the memory of a people displaced from their homeland. Fact 2. The Peach State myth. Georgia is the peach state, but South Carolina often grows more peaches. Georgia's brand stuck thanks to 19th century marketing, while the state's true crop portfolio is broader. Peanuts, pecans, cotton, blueberries, timber, all rooted in its diverse soils and climates. Fact 1. A state that's really 5 geographies. From Blue Ridge Peaks to Piedmont Hills, Sandhill Scars, coastal plain farms, and maritime coast, Georgia is 5 distinct physiographic provinces in one state. That's why it can grow peaches and peanuts, launch Appalachian through hikers and sea turtles, and run the world's busiest airport, all at once. That's Georgia, wild, layered, and absolutely not what you thought. If you learned something new, hit subscribe for more deep dive geography stories every week, and tell us which state we should decode next.
I think he hit it on the nail on the head when he said, very distinctive. 5, there's a lot of layers to Georgia. It's just not a busy Atlanta town but you got everything from those walks up in the Blue Ridge to the farming to obviously busy towns, the busiest airport in the world as well. That's a big claim as well. There's a lot of busy airports in the world, but dang, that's got to be busy. But that was very interesting. A lot of new information in that from the state of Georgia. I didn't know. I've heard of the peaches, sweet as a Georgia peach and whatever else. But South Carolina makes, harvest more than. But it comes down to good advertising, doesn't it? There's a lot of stuff like that, that we learn that, oh, we only know that through advertising. And it's like, oh, okay. So the advertising obviously worked. So, but that was very, very interesting. I really like that. I love learning new things. I love learning new geography facts as well. But I want to learn more about Atlanta. That's not like I've seen cityscapes like the skyline of Atlanta, and it looks like any other city, to be honest. But the fact that it's got all those trees as well, it's like, okay, that's very interesting. Why did they make it like that for, and I'd like to do a deep dive into Atlanta as well too. So, but let me know if you enjoyed that one, guys. Thank you very much for joining me today. Make sure you stay safe, and I will definitely see you in the next reaction video. Oh, you're still here? You want more content? Why don't you check out my Patreon down here? You'll get plenty more content and some exclusive videos over there too. If not, why not check out this one over here?